Hey guys, what is up? And thank you so much for clicking and hopefully liking and subscribing to Smiles and Stocks. Here I'm kind of talking about stock market for beginners, kind of how I began in the stock market. First of all, how did I begin in the stock market? Well, I was kind of always a numbers guy, and one day I was looking up the most expensive car in the world, most expensive house in the world, most expensive boat in the world. There's some big boats out there. Most expensive stock in the world. What is this thing called Berkshire Hathaway? What is Berkshire Hathaway? Well, at that time, that stock was, I think, about $200,000, which now I think it's hovering around or over $300,000, which is pretty crazy. So $300,000 now, holy smokes. $200,000 back then, holy smokes. So I kind of looked into it further. Berkshire Hathaway, okay. Who's the top dog of Berkshire Hathaway? Warren Buffett. At that time, the name rang a bell. Warren Buffett, my goodness. Who is this guy? So I dove a lot deeper into who Warren Buffett was. And oh my gosh, Warren Buffett is hilarious. He's awesome. Everyday guy. So cool. So I looked, how did he get there? How did he get to be the head of one of the most expensive stocks in the market? What the turkey, right? What the crap? So, he started buying stocks when he was in the single digits, in the early teens. So might as well, why can't I do it? So I started doing the same thing. I started buying one stock here, one stock there, and slowly learning about the market. It's like anything you do. It's like you're riding a bike. It's like I said, whatever you do, the more you do it, the more you read about it, the more you look at it, the better you get. So it's an amazing thing. The market is an amazing thing if you do your due diligence, if you do your research. So let's get into basically how I began. I still remember my first 3 stocks. 1, Berkshire Hathaway. 2, I bought a share of Coca-Cola because of Berkshire Hathaway. And number 3, I bought one stock in the Vanguard VOO, which I will be talking about during this video. That's basically the overall S&P 500. S&P stands for S is standard, the P is poor, standard and poor, 500. Basically, it's the market. So, okay. How much money did I have to begin with? Well, I spent at that time about $400 to $500, but I began putting money away. So, beginning in the market. If you have $100 to $200, that's all you need to do to start. Even if you have less than that. If you have $60, you could buy 1 share of Coca-Cola for free off of an M1 app, a Robinhood app, anything like that. So, that's pretty cool too. Or if you go to the M1 app, you could buy small increments of any stock. I think it has to be like $10 or $20 in increments. So even if you wanted to buy a Berkshire Hathaway Class B share that's trading for around $200 to $210 right now, and you want to spend $20, you could buy a 1/10 of a share, which is pretty cool and a great way to get into the market. But let's talk about it. If you have $100 to $200, I'd buy something fun. So something fun for me, which I own quite a few of, is the Disney stock ticker DIS. So why buy something fun? Well, Disney is always in the news between their park expansions, their new Star Wars lands, Pixar Pier, everything they're adding in Hong Kong, Disney World Orlando. Like I said, their movies. They own Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own Lucasfilms, their cartoons, their remakes from animated movies back then. The Lion King just came out and and it keeps kicking everybody's butt. Spider-Man Far From Home, like I just said, they own Marvel. It's a great company that has a huge moat. If you know Warren Buffett, it has a moat. And it's just a good way to continually read about current news about a stock that you own. And I think they're around 140, 145-ish right now, at the end of July 2019. So that's what I would do. I would choose a fun stock. If it was me, I had to start all over, and I had about $100 to $200, I would buy the Disney stock again. Stock ticker DIS. Now, if I had between $200 and $500, I would look into the market, and if I didn't know the market that well, and I kind of wanted to ease into it without knowing what to buy, how to buy, or anything like that, one, I'd buy the S&P 500 VOO. That's by Vanguard. Again, VOO. You can learn a lot more about that just by typing into Yahoo VOO or typing into Google VOO. It's a great way just to get the average overall market wins and losses, but it's a good way to ease into it. It pays a dividend as well, but if you just want to set it and forget it, that's one way to do it, you know? Also, we could talk and get the Berkshire Hathaway Class B shares. BRKB is the stock ticker. That's about $200 as well. That's a good way to do it. It's a good way to get to know the market, to learn about Warren Buffett. Just reading about him and the company really got me excited to learn about stocks in general. So it could probably do the same to you. It has done the same to a lot of people out there. Okay, we talked about $100 to $200 range. We talked about $200 to $500 range. Let's talk about $500 to $1,000 range. Here's where you could buy multiple stocks, or you could buy multiple shares of a same stock. So you could get like 2 to 3 to 4 stocks and buy multiples of them, or depending on what stocks you look at, you could get like between like 6 and 8 shares. It's a good way to start to diversify into different sectors of the stock market, like the finance section, the utility section, the commodity section, anything like that. So you could start looking at like a high growth stock like an Apple or an Alibaba or a Netflix, or I should say, like basically run-of-the-mill blue chip stocks as in Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Coke, and Pepsi. And the cool thing is about that, if you buy a Unilever, P&G, Procter & Gamble, a Coke, a Pepsi, and you have about $500 to $750, those are great ones right there. And then if you have like up to $1,000, you could buy an Apple. Maybe if you have anything left over, you could buy an Alibaba, but that's up to you. I do own Apple. I did own Netflix, but I sold it when it was really high. I do own Alibaba. I do own Procter & Gamble. Will own Unilever, Coke, and Pepsi. So those are all great stocks that I like. Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Coke, and Pepsi all pay a dividend, which I receive every quarter that they hand them out. Apple also pays a dividend, which is why I have them, and I think they're a pretty good growth stock. Alibaba does not pay a dividend, but I think they are a pretty high growth stock. That's why I'm keeping them. And then there's Netflix. Why I sold them at the time, I wanted to buy something else. I wanted to buy a company called Markel, which I'll be talking about soon. Stock ticker on that one is MKL, but that's coming right up. So Netflix, that's a good one too. I kind of want to get back into it, but I'm going to wait till November of 2019 after the Disney company launches their Disney Plus platform. So that's basically it for the $500 to $1,000. You could begin to diversify, or if you found something you like, just buy multiple shares of it. So we're going to go to the $1,000 to the $2,000 range. We are getting up there in money, and hopefully this has taken you down the path of researching, reading quarterly reports and or annual reports. Hopefully you're just not putting your money out there and just be like, I want to buy this because this guy said it, or that guy said it, or Warren Buffett has it. it's a good uh, it's a good quick way to lose your money, and really lose your momentum of wanting to invest in the market if you don't have the fun and read and research. But you do what you want. I like to read the report. So $500 to $1,000. Like I said, here's where it gets kind of fun. Again, oh, I'm sorry, the 1,000 to 2,000. But yeah, like I said, here's where it gets kind of fun. You can start seeing the dividends roll in, and every quarter your stock share in that keeps adding up. So if you do like a dividend reinvesting plan, that's where whoever you buy stocks through, they take your dividends every month or every quarter or every half year or every year when you get them, and they reinvest directly into that stock. So let's say in the very first year you have one share of Apple, and then through their quarterly dividends and the reinvesting every quarter, let's say after a year you have 1.12 Apple, and then the next year after their quarterly dividends you'll have like 1.22. So it keeps adding up and it snowballs into more of that stock itself. So that's a pretty cool thing to do, and it does it automatically. So within the $1,000 to $2,000 range, you might have 5 to 10 stocks that you really, really like, or you might have 8 to 10 stocks that you really, really like and that you don't have a lot of shares of, or that you might have a lot. Again, it depends. Coca-Cola runs around $54, $55, where an Apple runs $200, where if you want to buy the Google stock, it's like $1,200. If you want to buy an Amazon stock, that's running close to $2,000. So it depends how you want to play the game. All your eggs in one basket, as some investors say, hey, if you're going to do it, go big or go home. If you've done your research and due diligence, go big or go home. So put it all in one basket and shoot for the moon. Or if you want to kind of take it easy and have a more than average, hopefully gain, so you could put stuff that you hope will get a larger increase than the S&P 500, and just kind of go from there. So I told you I was going to talk about the Markel stock. Markel, stock ticker MKL. A lot of investors, a lot of people call it the mini Berkshire Hathaway. I've owned a share before. I got rid of it at one time when it was a little bit higher to buy an Amazon stock. So I just have one Amazon stock because they're so expensive. Will I get back in Markel? Yes, I will. I like how they do things. Through the research I've done and how they own insurance companies and slowly do make acquisitions, I do think they are a mini Berkshire Hathaway, but that's just me. So will I get back in Markel? Yes. And like I said, you can buy one stock of Google. To be open, I do own one stock of Google. I bought that, I think, when I sold a couple other stocks, and when I sold my Netflix when I was mid 400s. Just, you know what? Most of my stocks I hold for a long time, or I plan to. At that time, Netflix, I was planning on hold it, but then it went pretty high, and I knew it was going to pull back down. So it was my chance to get rid of it, earn some money off that, and put it into something that I wanted to hold for a long time, which is Google. So, but like I said, here's where you start seeing your hopefully dividends come in and start paying you more, and hopefully you get excited that you're earning money off your stock. You're getting paid to own a stock. How awesome is that? Do you get paid every quarter for buying a used car? No, you're paying for gas in it. Son of a bitch, right? Oops. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. Bleep. Okay, so we are going to basically the $2,000 to $3,500 mark. So what can you get here? You could do a lot of things. You could do the things that you were doing in the $1,000 to $2,000 mark. You could have all your money in 1 to 2 stocks. You could buy 10 shares of Apple, which will be about $2,000, maybe $2,100 if you think they're going to go up. You could totally diversify and buy a stock in every sector. You could buy up to $3,500 worth of the S&P 500. This is where hopefully you're getting good or getting used to or making it an everyday adventure by looking at reports, looking at news, maybe taking 10 minutes and reading news on the stocks that you own, the stocks that you hope to buy, and maybe some news of what's going on in the government, because a lot of things the president says, a lot of things that the government is doing does directly and indirectly affect your stock. So now let's see what we could do between 3,500 and 5,000 and 5,000 plus. I'm just going to say one sentence: rinse and repeat. Hopefully by this time, when you have about $5,000 of your own hard-earned money into the market, you've seen stocks. You know what a quarterly report is. You know what an annual report is. You know what a payout ratio is. You know what a dividend is. You know what stocks you like. You know why you like them. You read news reports about what their future is going to be. With $5,000 of your hard-earned own money in, hopefully you are happy about the stocks that you have. Again, I'm a 9-to-5 worker. I have a family. I have kids. I got a mortgage. So since I've been investing, I've been reading all the time when I have my free time. I read reports. I read news articles. I read what this company just announced. So I'm ahead of the game. They're competitors. I read what their competitors are doing. If their competitor is trying to launch an energy drink, you want to know that stuff. So again, thank you so much. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, please put them down below. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to Smiles and Stocks. Thank you. Bye.